So this is where I decided to set up our GreenStalk. Now, I haven't made a longer video really addressing it, but we just closed on our house last Friday. So now we have so much to do and so much learning about the new place, because we went from less than 3/4 acres to 5 acres of land. And so I'm still going around setting everything up, but one thing that I know for sure is that I don't know when I'm going to do an in-ground garden or get any raised beds or any of that, because none of our property has been mowed in a very long time. So a lot of the pasture is way taller than me, and it's just going to be hard. So we're going to have to pull the tractor out here because there's just no way that the lawnmower will be able to handle it. We're able to push mow around the front of the property, which let me show you right here. You can kind of see like around the house area. My dad came out and they helped us mow and get everything, at least around the house, mowed down, which is really cool. So I decided, since I can't grow anything, I would go ahead and set up this GreenStalk. The only downside is that when I came out this morning, I had left my fennel plant on the ground. So this is the fennel. It looks really sad. I pulled it out of my garden, my original garden, back on the Gulf Coast. And I was just like, okay, let me pull out. And look, you can see a pill bug has actually, it's all the way in there. Right here, managed to get on it. So I left it. It's crazy. They're crawling up here to try and get to it. They have insane senses. Just trying to push them off. I love this fennel plant. It is one of the first plants that I grew. Oh no, it's a yellow jacket. There's a couple of them. Whew. Last night I actually killed a yellow jacket net. Well, I knocked down the yellow jacket nest off of the porch, and now it looks like there are more yellow jackets back attempting to build a nest. So that makes me really nervous, because when I was a little girl, my dad was putting some mowing equipment away and actually got stung really bad by yellow jackets. I remember them chasing him and him just trying to get us away from him. So they make me pretty nervous. You can see now that one of the yellow jackets is like hanging out on top of my fennel plant right there, just hanging out. I don't mind creatures helping pollinate, but I do get a little nervous about getting stung for sure, especially if I know something's aggressive. Now, man, there are pill bugs everywhere because I left my fennel on the ground right here, where all this dirt is. I just left the fennel there. Now, there wasn't all this dirt. I just put that on the ground because I decided, since I won't be able to grow an in-ground garden within the next couple of weeks, just because there's so much to do, so I don't know when I'll be able to get it started, I'll go ahead and plan out my GreenStalk. And I went to H-E-B to buy some groceries because we're not growing any of our own food right now since we just moved. We literally have nothing growing. And so I thought, well, H-E-B had these plants on sale, all different types of tomatoes and peppers. The smaller containers were 87 cents a piece, which was a great deal. And the larger ones I got were $3.97. But on the larger ones, I got a couple of bigger bell pepper plants that I really wanted. And I also got some, oh, I can't think of it. I think one, like sun gold or some type of tomato of that nature. And then a couple of herbs. So this is definitely going to help out some. I got some 2 different types of basil, a purple basil and another type, and then a chocolate mint plant or a peppermint plant. I can't remember because my son picked that one out. So on a couple of these I checked. I've never grown them before. I have grown a brandy tomato, but this is a big brandy tomato, and this is what it's supposed to look like. And then on the back of it, it says pink beefsteak type that is a cross of a big dwarf and a brandy wine that produce 12 to 15 ounce fruits, great flavor and fewer blemishes. So I'm hoping that these will do well. I specifically got them because they were supposed to be a smaller variety, and I'm hoping that is true. And then I got this home slice tomato, which is just a really nice red uniform tomato. And this one says vigorous and early with heavy yields of 5 to 6 ounce fruits, determinate, perfect for container growing. So I definitely picked these out for being determinate because hopefully they won't get as tall as other plants. And that's really what I'm going for, is that they'll be compact enough to do well in here. Now, unfortunately, some of this dirt was already in here, and some of these tomatoes, like this one, was pretty tall. So I tried to bury them down to the first set of leaves, but it didn't necessarily work, getting them down that far. So on some of them, whew, now there's a red wasp. Man, they're just everything everywhere today. And so I was able to get them in as deep as I can. The smaller plants I was able to get in up to the first leaves, as you can tell here. But in this bottom part, there are a couple of like lettuce and arugula plants. Some of them I pulled out. Like you can see these little plants down here. They were planted there about a month ago, and then it just got incredibly hot all of a sudden. So when they finally started germinating, it was too late already. So a couple of them that are still going okay, I left in there. I'm sure they're not going to make it very long, but even a little microgreens. My daughter planted these, and for her that was really exciting. This GreenStalk has been a life changer because you can put it just a couple of make it smaller, just do a couple of sets on the tower. And she is a wheelchair user, so for her, being able to have this where she doesn't have to reach all the way to reach in ground, we don't have to worry about building a raised bed just yet, and we can kind of rotate it. And we also went ahead and paid extra and got the wheels for it, so it's on a spinner base. We do have the wheels, which makes it easier to rotate. You see me moving suddenly, it's because they're like both yellow jacket and red wasp that are flying around. It's making me a little nervous, and they are kind of getting upset with each other because I guess fighting over territory. Yellow jackets can be very territorial. So and then so that's what I did. That's why there are mostly tomatoes in here, but then you see like a couple of pockets of other types of greens. And then in this one, some of these pockets look empty, but they're not. Like right here is a ginger plant. And so here I planted one of the big brandy tomatoes that the top actually snapped off on the way home, but I figured maybe this one up top could become the main stem. So we'll see what happens with that one. It may make it, it may not. I'm sure I won't get as much fruit, but that's okay. Here's another one of them, and they overall look healthy. I tried to pick the healthiest plants for 87 cents. You know, it's really not a bad price. And then I just tried to take off any diseased leaves that I saw too, so I wasn't just carrying some of that home with me. We'll see how that goes. Here's another ginger root, and this one I actually accidentally took out because I didn't know it was in there, and it had roots on the bottom, and so did this one. Has some little roots growing. And then here is a ginger that's already popped up out of the ground, and up top we have a couple of them. So literally I had planted this ginger during the winter hoping that it would come up when it got warm, and it never came up. And then all of a sudden we closed on the house Friday, and I'm sorry, I keep saying Friday. We closed on the house on Wednesday, and then Friday we wanted to move our camper to the property. So whenever we moved our camper, we decided, obviously we had to move this too because we're moving out of the RV park to our actual house. And so I looked, and this had sprouted up, which was really surprising. And then there's another little sprout right in here in the next pocket. A couple of them right here that you can see. There is a ginger here, and then here's a little bit starting to show up. And then the roots, they root down before they pop up. So there's one right here that has a little green tip on it, and there's one right in here. So they are all starting to develop, which is surprising because I really didn't expect them to. And then look, here's a ginger plant. I guess I just put in a little piece of it and it is taking off. So I'm just gonna put this back in here. So here are the roots right here. And isn't that amazing? It'll just spread out. Well, here are the roots actually. I think this was part of the plant. This is the green tip of the plant starting to sprout up. It's just really light in color and then it'll turn green. And then here's the roots at the bottom, and it's really cool how it's sprouting up. So put that back in here. It looks like there's actually, that's a piece that broke off of the bigger plant. So there's a bigger rhizome in here, which is really cool. I didn't expect these to take off so well. I grew ginger back home, and I was able to take some of the roots from the ginger back home in my garden. We got a lot of rain. It was really hot and really humid, so ginger really thrived. Now we're not that far from where we were originally, only a couple of hours, but the climate is slightly different. Woo. I do not like the yellow jackets buzzing around my head. It's making me so nervous. You can kind of see we're still moving in because I still have clothes on the floor right in the entryway. I just dumped everything in the entryway when we were moving in. I still haven't moved everything from storage, but it was exhausting driving 2 hours, loading everything up. Oh gosh. Driving back, see that yellow jacket is right by the garden, just buzzing around it. It is making me nervous. I really hope they don't try to build a nest next to the GreenStalk. But so all these pill bugs, anyways, because I left this fennel up here on the ground, all of these little pill bugs were everywhere this morning. They are just going crazy. They're all the way across the entire porch. You can see them. And so one thing that I know is that there is just overpopulated. We're overpopulated with pill bugs. They are everywhere. There are pill bugs everywhere. So I probably need to put something down, some kind of fruit or something, rotting matter, to collect them all. At this point, the only animals that I still have are the khaki Campbell ducks. I plan on getting some more Welsh Harlequin ducklings and bringing up our ducks from down there, and then start getting chickens, maybe some coonies to work on the pasture and kind of rotate them through the pasture. That will take care of the grass, give them plenty of food, and at the same time it will allow me to reclaim some of the pasture and turn it into a garden. If you've been here for a while, you know I love rotating animals out instead of tilling and using them to do all the hard work and then just letting the ground sit and planting where they were. So that is my plan. It's not going to happen right away. It's a bit of a process because I still haven't got everything unpacked. And look at this. You can see they're literally crawling up the columns on the house. They are just everywhere. So I'm a little worried they're going to crawl up the GreenStalk. They haven't yet. So all of this that I dumped out planting the tomatoes, I need to sweep off the porch before they just go crazy and eat everything in my GreenStalk, and then go find something to set down so I don't lose all my crops, because this is all that we have. Okay, and then excuse the trailer because it's a mess. Some of the stuff, like the tire, was in the property yard. A bunch of bricks were in the yard. This is part of my fireplace, so I actually need to take it and put it back inside. We were cleaning out the fireplace. Believe it or not, we scrubbed this, but it's still pretty dirty. And this is really cool. You can actually hang a pot or a cauldron over the top of it. I have a really cool cast iron pot with a lid, so I was really excited that the house came with this. The fireplace is massive. We're going to be doing some work. We've really been cleaning up because our house has been empty for well over a year, and so we have a lot of dusting to do, a lot of cleaning, and so it's going to be a bit of a process. It's been a lot of work. And also I'm gonna paint. We have a lot of really beautiful wood paneling. The problem is it's been there since the house is built, so it has a lot of dings and scratches, and it's different colors from where the sun has bleached it or where shelves have hung. So it's just going to be a bit of work. I decided to go ahead and paint the wood paneling. I'm not a fan of sheetrock. I love paneling. I love wood floors. So I just want to be able to save it, but it's definitely, it needs some rehab. So I think the best thing is just to clean it off, go ahead and paint it a color that I love, and that's what I'm going to do. And then, as you can see, these are all my plants that I got. So some of these, like the peppers, I might go ahead and pull these peppers off so the roots have time to establish. But you can see it's a little bell pepper plant. This is the big Bertha pepper. So that's what I got. I only got a couple of like really hot peppers. I got a cayenne. I love cayennes. I was really looking for a Tabasco pepper, but I couldn't find one. Those grow so well for me. And then this one is a sweet pepper, it says. So I've never grown the Aristotle pepper. I don't know much about it, but I thought it would be really good for 87 cents a pepper. And then these bigger plants are the ones that were like $3.97. This bigger tomato, I don't usually buy bigger tomatoes, but this sun sugar tomato, that's what it was, not a sun gold. But it looks like it'll be the same color as the sun gold. You can see there's some discoloration of the leaves. So it started developing tomatoes. So I need to pull those tomatoes off and then plant this plant and let the roots go ahead and really root into the soil. And then here is the mint plant, and it says it's a chocolate mint, which is great. That really has taken over on our old property. And then here is one of the basils. You can see it's huge. I did pay $3.97, so $4 for this basil, but it looks like it has 3 or 4 stalks in it, so I figured separate it and the basil will just spread so quickly. We'll end up getting a really good harvest of this. We really are not going to get freezing weather until the end of October, and that could push off until November or December. So we have such a long growing season. It is only May here right now. And so I think a lot of things are going to be able to establish and take off. One thing I'll go ahead and plant in the ground is okra, because that'll do well. You can see a lot of this plant, a lot of this plant broke during transport, and it's kind of sad looking. This is broken. I think this is broken, that's why it's so wilted. So I'll probably go ahead and use this for something, so it's not wasted. But this plant will grow so fast. This is a different type. It says red Reuben basil. I love the smell. I thought I got a purple basil, and I went to, but this one smelled so sweet and yet such a strong basil fragrance. It's like fragrance. It's like sweet and spicy and just everything you can imagine. So I definitely love this basil already. It just smells so good. It's almost like a sweet cinnamon smell. I don't even know how to describe it. It's so wonderful. So I went ahead and got that one, and then a couple more of these big Bertha plants. But all of these little ones in the little black containers were all 87 cents. Peppers too. So that was a really good deal for me. Now this I got, I've never had this before. I love San Marzanos, and I saw the tomato and I was like, this looks like a baby San Marzano. I guess because they've been in the containers, the fruit was really small. But then I got to reading it, and look, here's the fruit. It is really tiny, right? And it's already starting to lighten up in color. And then I read this, look at this. It's a Maynard tomato, it's a cross. And so it says elongated mini Marzano type fruits grow up to 2 1/4 inch long, 3/4 inches wide, and resemble small Romas. And they really are just a little tiny Roma, which is really cool. I've never seen that. I've only seen the larger San Marzanos, which are one of my favorite tomatoes to grow, and one of the first tomatoes I ever grew successfully. And so I thought a miniature version would be so cool. Sam, my 10-year-old Sam, look how many. They're just so tiny, little clusters of tiny fruits, and they don't get much bigger than that. He loves tomatoes if they're homegrown, and he just refuses to eat a store-bought tomato. He says they just don't taste good. So I thought it would be really exciting for him to have some homegrown tomatoes, and us to get a quick and easy harvest off the smaller tomatoes. And then he said, hey, those would be great for salads, and he's right. I didn't think about that when I bought it, but they would be great to just throw in salads, not have to slice them or do a lot of work. And then it's exciting for him to get to come out and pick little tomatoes. And then it gives me something to harvest too while I'm waiting on my big slicers to take off. So I'm pretty excited to have all of these plants. It really wasn't a bad deal. So I got a lot of plants and a lot of starts for a pretty good price. And I'm excited about that. So I can't wait to kind of show off how well they grow or don't grow. And hopefully they do pretty well. That's what I'm hoping for. So thank you guys for kind of letting me ramble on as usual and checking out my plants. And hopefully I'll have a lot more to show you in the upcoming weeks.